So welcome to everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. In case you're not local, this is an event hosted by BookSync, which is the oldest independent bookstore in the West. So thank you for tuning in and supporting us. A bookstore like us wouldn't be here this long without the support of all of our lovely readers and authors who do events like this. So I want to take the time to thank everybody who's coming in. And now, welcome to this very special virtual BookSync Storytime featuring an extremely talented creator, TL McBeth, also known as Trenton. TL is both an author and an illustrator and has worked on many books over the years, including Ducks by fellow author Deborah Underwood and his own Robot in Love. Today we're celebrating another book, both written and illustrated by TL, Randy the Badly Drawn Horse. There it is. So get the paper out and the pencils at the ready, and I'll pass it over to TL McBeth so he can introduce you to Randy. But first, I'm going to remind you all, if you have questions, to post them in the Q&A box. That way I can come in and ask them on your behalf at the end of the event. So yeah, we'll see you on the other side, and take it away, Trenton.
Thanks so much, Hannah. As Hannah just said, I am TL McBeth, and this is my newest book, Randy the Badly Drawn Horse. And so without further ado, I'll read you the book that I wrote and illustrated. So we have the end papers here, which show an in-depth and comprehensive guide on how to draw a horse. And this is Randy the Badly Drawn Horse. Mom, look. I drew a beautiful horse. He is beautiful. Great job, dear. I am a beautiful horse. Everyone loves me. What's his name, honey? I will call him Randy. Randy must be the most refined and sophisticated name reserved only for the most special of creatures. Randy likes to run. My gorgeous mane blows in the breeze. My long, elegant legs glide across the ground. My silky coat gleams and sparkles in the bright sunlight. My perfect smile lights up the sky. All that running made Randy hungry. Ignore the squiggly lines and gurgly noises. Everything is fine with my stomach. Randy is a good chef, just like me. I am a great chef. My culinary creation should be served at a 5-star restaurant. Uh-oh, Randy made a mess. Randy cleans up. Wait a second, I didn't make this mess, but I suppose I could help you clean it up. Now Randy is going to be a hero on an adventure. This is more like it, a valiant quest of courage. Surely I am destined for greatness. He travels up a mountain, but he gets stuck. I'm okay. I'm not stuck. Everything is fine. Just 1 minute. Who would put such a trap in the middle of a book? Pop! Randy keeps going. Finally, I freed myself from the mighty crevasse. Through the forest, I must press on. After all, I am a hero on a voyage to an unknown destination. And the desert? Sun is so hot, so thirsty. Randy finally arrives. Phew, I need a drink. Randy goes to the water to take a big drink. Wait a second. Who is that? That me? I'm not beautiful at all. Where's my gorgeous mane? Where are my long, elegant legs? My coat isn't silky or gleaming, and it's certainly not sparkly. My smile doesn't even light up the sky. All this time I thought I was a majestic and beautiful horse. How could this be? Randy did it. Did what? He's a good adventurer. Wait, I am? I love Randy, my beautiful horse. You do? I am beautiful, aren't I? Of course, we have the end papers again, but the final horse is crossed out. So that was Randy, the badly drawn horse. And now that you've seen the book, and now that you've seen the how to draw section, I would like to teach you how to draw Randy. So if you have your pens and papers ready, I'm going to sit right here. So the first thing you need to draw when you draw Randy is his long and elegant legs, which are just a few sticks, basically. And now once you've drawn Randy's long, elegant legs, you're going to draw his head and his ear, which are just two little bumps on the side of his body, a big one and a small one. Now we're going to draw Randy's gorgeous and sparkling eyes, which just happen to be two circles with two little dots inside, just like that. And now for Randy's bright smile that lights up the sky, we're just going to make a shape. It's kind of like a jelly bean. And then we're going to give him his teeth, which are just three little lines, just like that. I hope you're all following along at home, and I hope you're doing well. So I can't wait to see your beautiful horses. Randy has a little bit of hair, a little tuft of hair, and he also has another ear back here. So you're just going to draw a few little squiggles up near the top of his head. Now we're getting close to being halfway done. You're going to draw a line right at the back of his head to make his neck. And then you're going to connect this line. You're going to go all the way back to his back leg, just like that. All right. So now we're going to draw Randy's billowing and luscious mane, which are just a bunch of squiggles on the back of his body. And then his gorgeous and poofed tail, which is, again, just a few wavy lines. And we're almost done. All right, so Randy has hooves. So we're going to draw a little line at the end of each of his legs, and we are so close. Now, Randy has a collar because he is a pet. So we're going to draw two circles, half circles, just little lines right here. We're going to draw an oval to make his collar. And that's it. It's as easy as that. That is how you draw Randy, the badly drawn horse. Now, you can draw your horse however you like. You can add background, like in the book, you can collage, put popsicle sticks or pom-poms, or you could add details. I'm going to add a little shading to mine. You know, just a little cross hatching, of course. And your horse can be whatever you want it to be. Of course, I'm just kidding. Your horse is beautiful just the way he or she is. And I'd love to see them. So if you want to tweet them at me, send me a message or email, I'd love to see your horses. And now I think it's time for some questions.
You got me with that other horse one. I was laughing. I drew mine. Elena, did you draw one? Do you want to share yours as well? Elena,
that's great. You said you couldn't draw, but I definitely think you can, because
yeah, I think mine turned out pretty. It turned out pretty well.
Yeah, that was great. I love it.
Mine too.
It's so cute. But ours is nothing compared to your fine piece of art.
Oh, it's
the
just
deep
a little,
shading and
the deep
all of
shading.
that.
Well, we hope those of you at home also did your Randy. Now you have your very own pet Randy.
Yeah.
You can put it up on your wall or on your fridge. We know our adults really love art on fridges, right? Not on the wall unless it's on paper first. We do know that. So we do have some questions. Cool. First is, what is the inspiration for Randy being a horse?
That's a great question. A lot of kids ask this too. They're like, why is Randy a horse? And I think the answer is he was just always a horse. He was just a drawing in a sketchbook. My wife and I play this game where I'll draw something or she'll draw something and the other one will try to copy it. And so she drew a horse, I drew a horse. He looked like a Randy, so I just wrote Randy underneath it. And then we had a good laugh and we shut the book, and that was that. A few months later, I was looking through sketchbooks to find something to post on Instagram, and I saw Randy and he still made me laugh, and I posted him, and my agent emailed me and she's like, "What's Randy's story?" And we just got talking about it, and that's how it happened. It was really just a character first.
That's great. That's really fun. Let's see, I've got another one here. Do you have any other animal stories in the works?
So that is a great question. The answer is yes. A lot of my books are about animals. I didn't notice that till a child pointed that out to me today too. I was like, I guess you're right. But I've actually written another book about Randy that's coming out next year. So when I was writing this book and doing the illustrations, I thought to myself, what is the worst thing that can happen to Randy? And I think because Randy's always in the spotlight, the worst thing that could happen is that he would have to share that spotlight with somebody else. So in the second book, there is another horse and he is not happy about it.
Oh, that's going to be exciting. Can't wait to read that one. We have some more questions coming up. Is there any chance that you'll be putting out a how-to guide for kids and adults on drawing?
That's actually, that's very kind of you to think I have that skill set. But there's no plans in the works right now. It's funny because how to draw books were actually like another inspiration for this book, because they always really frustrated me as a kid, because you'd see like the circles, just like in the end papers, it's, the squiggly line, squiggly line, squiggly line, and then perfect horse at the end. And that's how I always felt. I always felt like I could never draw, what was the end product. And so the answer, unfortunately, no, there's no plans for a drawing book, but thank you so much for asking. It's very kind.
Of course. So you said, you just said that you kind of felt frustrated that you could never get the end result. So what made you fall in love with drawing and become an illustrator?
This is like one of those big questions of life. I just always liked making books. I found I was going through old, school projects, and I'd made a lot of books as a kid. And I was also really lucky to be born in this really small town in Ohio, which just happens to have this crazy museum called the Mazza Museum, which is all dedicated to the art of picture books. And so I would go there often as a child, and I would get to read the books and then see the original art on the walls. And as a teenager, they started letting me go to these huge illustration conferences. They'd bring in like illustrators from all over the world, and I would get to hear them speak. And I think all of that kind of made it seem like, oh, this is something I can do. Just hearing people and seeing how they also weren't that good starting out, but then they, learned, got better, and just kept at it. It was just really inspiring.
Very cool. We did get another question. They want to know what your wife's horse looks like. Her version of Randy versus.
Oh man, I wish I had the sketchbook with me. But on my Instagram, if you look, I actually posted the original Randy that I drew, and it looks nothing like this. Like it looks absolutely. It almost looks like a sad dog. Yeah, I think Randy really had an Arthur style glow up, if you know what I mean. Like Arthur in the 90s is very different from Arthur, the TV show, you know. But yeah, so I don't think you really want to see the original impetus.
Yes. What's your favorite thing to draw?
Oh man. Well, when I was really young, I really loved drawing robots, and although I don't draw them as much anymore, I find that they're just very meditative, because they're just a bunch of little squares, and I don't know, it seems like something natural to draw when you're doodling, because you can just draw a bunch of squares and rectangles, and then somehow it becomes this little robot contraption.
And I should have known this from researching, but was the robot book your first solo book?
Yeah, so it's funny. I wrote Randy first, and it was submitted, and it was going to be made into a book. And then I wrote Robot. I was sitting with my editor, And she's like, do you have any other ideas for books? And I said, what about a book about a robot? And I kind of gave her the pitch, and she's like, you need to make this in 2 months to come out for Valentine's Day next year. And I was like, okay. And so then I worked on Robot. It came out first, and then Randy came out. So that's kind of a backwards way to answer your question.
Yeah. But 2 months, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, it was insane. Like I didn't eat or sleep. I just like wrote for a month, and then like after that was all like approved, illustrated for a month, and then that was it. That's like the fastest I've ever done a book.
Wow.
I always think I can do it that fast now. There's just no way. That was like some kind of weird lightning in a bottle thing.
Yeah, you had the Valentine's Day pressure.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, it just had to be done or else. So
that's right. Someone else wants to know if Randy's story is going to run into a robot storyline sometime.
You know, it's funny that you say that. Like, I don't think they'll ever like meet up, but if you look at, I've tried to like some kind of cross universe stuff going on within my illustrated books. Like if you look at Ogilvy, I'm pretty sure that Ogilvy draws Randy and like Stegosaurus. Like there's all these little drawings because some of the bunnies do art.
Mm-hmm.
And so throughout that book, there's a lot of like little nods and references to other stuff. And I really do, or would like to, you know, keep cross-pollinating that. And I think, the skyline in Ducks, like for the big New York spread, is the same skyline in Robot in Love.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like little stuff like that I like to try to, but no one would ever know.
But
except
well,
for
now
me.
we do. That's
well,
fun.
now you do.
Yeah, that's little fun tidbits you get at these events. And I can see that Elena is putting. She found your Instagram post about it.
Oh
so
yeah, yes.
And then she's putting links to the other books that you mentioned. So people can find them there if they want to see. Let's see. I had some questions that were somewhat similar. Oh yeah, you use different mediums. So you mentioned the popsicle sticks, and so what's your process for that? Did you draw them all? Did you like take pictures?
So for Randy, we got to do. I mean, I always thought it would be great because it's like from a child's perspective to do like a lot of like crafty things like pom poms and popsicle sticks, and we even got to like use really cool. Like if you don't know if you guys noticed this, like the water is like spot glossed.
Oh yeah, the first page isn't.
Yeah, and the peanut butter is too, like, so it kind of looks like actually like gloppy and shiny. And so so what happened was a lot of my books I try to draw them like physically, and then but I don't do a really good job. And so then I spend a lot of time in Photoshop making them look good. And then for Randy, I got to use actual crayons. And yeah, like you said, I photographed things like on my floor, and then, you know, we're able to bring them into the computer and, you know, cut them out and mess with them and make them look real. But yeah, everything in the book is real and exists probably somewhere in a file folder.
Well, cool. And Elena is reminding us to tell everybody about your upcoming book.
Oh, yeah. So I have, obviously Randy 2 is coming out next year, which is super exciting. And I have a book that's coming out also next year, which is a sequel to my very first book that I illustrated. The first book that I illustrated is called Stegosaurus. It's about a dinosaur who knows a lot of words. And the sequel, or the, you know, spiritual successor, is called Triceratopposite. And it's about a little dinosaur who does the opposite of everything that his parents tell him to do. Of course, both of those are written by Bridget Heos, and they're very funny, and I'm excited for people to get to see them. I think they're going to work great as like a teaching set, because you can do like synonyms and antonyms, and also they're just really fun books.
That's great. Yeah, I was going to try to say that title, and I thought, I was like, that's a tongue twister if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was saying it wrong for the first few months that I was illustrating it, so no, I understand.
Well, that's it. Do we have any more questions for Trenton? I was about to call you Randy. Do we have any questions for Trenton and Randy, the horse, maybe? Looks like we're all out of questions. So thank you so much, Trenton, for coming and doing your story time. And hopefully for the next round of Randy, we can see you in person for his next adventures. and have you in one of our stores. We would greatly.
Yeah, of course.
That would be fantastic. We would love to have that. So, and thank you for everybody for tuning in. And we're gonna say good night to you all here in the out in the public. And Randy and I, I knew I was gonna do it. Trenton and I will see each other again for another school visit later tonight. So he's got to go get his new markers and papers out, ready to go. So thank you, everybody, and have a fantastic night. And I'll see you later, Trenton.
Bye.
Right, bye.